Hey everybody, this is Dominic D'Angelo of WrestleZone.com, and today's date is October 7th, 2020. So weird to say, this year's as weird as it's been flying by too, in a roundabout kind of weird way. But I'm happy to have with me here none other than Alicia Atout. Alicia, it's been a while since we talked. How you doing?
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen you. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. Things have been crazy. It's weird because you would think during these pandemic times, like things would really slow down, but I've just been hosting video after video well, it's always on video, but like virtually, which has been kind of strange still. Still getting used to that. But no, things have been going really, really well.
Yeah, talk about just making that adjustment, doing like a lot. I mean, you're obviously you've done your vlog and you brought the vlog back and stuff like that. But talk about how that kind of adjustment with the quarantine has been and getting connecting with people because you still interview plenty of wrestlers and plenty of musical talent, everything like that
Yeah.
going on.
Well, when the pandemic first hit, the first thing that you think about is, oh my gosh, like, has this happening in my lifetime? Like, the first thing I didn't even think about was my work and how it would impact that, because it was just like, oh my gosh, my family, just everything, it was a lot to take in. It's such a serious thing. And then once you kind of get past that thought, the immediate thing that hits is, oh crap, my work. Like, I travel, I do this, I do that. Like, that's my life. So what do I do? And it was weird timing because about 2 months before we even knew what coronavirus was, I started a new series on my channel called Catching Up With, where I would host Skype interviews with a bunch of friends or people I've known but never had on the show. So I was already kind of doing virtual interviews. So when everything happened, all this craziness, it hit me like, you know what? Let's just ditch it being called Catching Up With, and let's just host tons of Zoom and Skype interviews. So I already had the format down. I was already familiar with the technology, luckily. Not that it's like that difficult, but like sometimes technology can suck. We were kind of talking about that.
Yep.
But so it was easy for me to kind of just jump right in, and it opened my eyes a little bit because I was always so focused on people I can interview who were on the same show I was hosting, who were on the same show I was traveling to. And then I was thinking, there's so many other talents out there that I don't get to see in person, or they're on the other side of the world, or the people I just probably will never meet. So I've been getting a lot of people like that on my show, and that's been really cool for me too. So it took some adjusting. It took some getting over the fact like, oh damn, like I'm stuck here. That sucks. And luckily that's changing now. So yeah, it's been intense, but it's been really good.
What's been like the most amount of? I think I once read on your Twitter that you said you had like 6 interviews in one day. What's been the most you've done
Oh,
in a day?
so as far as full interviews go, we're talking like 15-minute sit downs. The most I've
Sure.
done is probably like 8 in a day. And then, because I used to go and do all these music interviews and even wrestling shows where I'd literally like, actually, no, at Shimmer and Rise, I did 14 in one day.
What?
Yeah. Yep. I did not sleep for a week between the prep, the actual interviews themselves. I hosted in ring for them. Like, that was one of the most insane weekends ever. But I've also hosted at like red carpets. So there's the Alternative Press Music Awards. So that summer, in one day on the red carpet, and mind you, these are like 3 to 5 minute interviews, I did 24 interviews in a day.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah. So I pride myself on that though, because it takes a lot of like gusto to want to do that, and just motivation, because man, I slept so hard after that.
I bet. No, honestly, when I finish an interview, I feel exhausted sometimes. Like I'm like, holy
It's
shit, I
weird.
was wiped out. Like,
Well, it's this strange thing because it's like everyone just, and I sent a tweet about this a little bit ago, but how everyone's like, oh, anyone can interview, but I'm like, that's just not the case, because while you're doing it, so many things go on in your mind. You have to listen, you have to know what you want to ask next, you have to remember your research, you have to remember to just smile and be pleasant. And sometimes just smiling for like an hour straight just hurts my head because I'm like headache prone. So you literally, like, it sounds like I'm whining, but this is all stuff where if someone was to try to interview, they don't understand everything that comes with it. And it's a lot of multitasking. So yeah, I don't know. It's luckily we've learned the art.
I know, right? We've honed the practice a little bit to say the least. Yeah. Well, yeah. So talk about just getting started again with MLW. I thought it was reacquainting myself with all your background and everything. I forgot that this was your very first wrestling company you signed with too, like you signed
Yeah.
a contract with, and that's been. It's been well over a year since you've done that, but obviously COVID coming into play earlier in this year, like putting a halt on everything. You had plenty of shows under your belt with them, but talk about the restart. When did you first hear about it, and how did it all come to
Yeah.
play for you?
So yes, MLW are coming back. We are taping this month at an undisclosed location. Our roster is going to be back bigger and better than ever. We even have new signees that I don't even know who signed. Like, I know the announcements. Court loves keeping things a
Yes, he
secret. He
does.
loves surprising. Oh my gosh, he loves surprising us. I'll send him a text and I'm just like, hey, Court, nudge, nudge, want to tell me what's going on? And sometimes, he will, sometimes he doesn't. But I'm all for it because I know every surprise or every time we're sitting on something, it's because it's something awesome. So yeah, we're coming back. It's going to be really exciting because, like I mentioned, we have a bunch of new people who are being added to the roster. We have a new deal with Fubo Sports where we air every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. So that's super exciting. We still have our BN Sports deal, which is fantastic. I know they're working on a bunch of other stuff. We just had a really crazy UK deal come through. So you can watch us like everywhere on millions and millions of screens. So it's just going to be great to be back. We haven't had shows since our AAA collab back in Tijuana in March. So we have been literally waiting for everything to kind of settle down. And yes, things are still crazy, but they're less crazy. And I think the thing that I'm most grateful for is they're actually testing us on site as well. We're going to have a doctor there. They're going to give us COVID tests. So they're literally keeping it as safe as possible because not all companies are doing that. And I just feel like I'm in great hands. I get to see friends again. I get to just like do my thing. They have really cool storylines for everyone. There's something we've been talking about for me that I just like can't wait to tap into. So yeah, it's great. The restart's coming. We're going to be airing everything in November. Just, you have to watch it. Stay tuned for MLW because we are about to do some really big things.
I'm so pumped for it because I cover it for MLW for the website, and I write, like, I just do the recaps.
Yeah, you do the articles. Yeah,
do the articles and stuff. So, like, following it along and even building up to when we stopped, to when MLW stopped, like, it was awesome because you had the hostile takeover by Contra, and they're like, what the hell's going to happen next? And now it's just been this waiting period, but it's like, getting back to it, I think, and I told this to Hammerstone in the other interview, is like, I think Court and you guys just do an amazing job with keeping a consistent, fun, engaging storyline that ties everybody in. And like, even for you, when you were were you in Tijuana, it was your birthday, and they tied it all into your storyline.
Oh my gosh.
Cake smash and everything.
It was so much fun because they pitched it to me and they're like, hey, so it's your birthday this weekend. And I was like, cool, let's do it. Like, I've always been down to have 2 birthdays in a year. And they just went all out. Like, we walk into the room and there's a room, like, a lot of the time we'll do pre-tapes at the hotel, and we walk in and they literally have like streamers and party hats, and they got me a birthday sash. And I'm like, well, damn, okay. Like, they put it, and the cake, which Hammerstone's face was mushed into. So it's just, they go all out on even the most little details that a lot of companies don't think of. And it's just really fun being able to be a part of that, speaking my piece, saying like, hey, I think this is a good idea. Hey, I think this is something we can do better. And everyone isn't judgmental. So I'm just really excited to be back in that environment where we can create some really fun stuff. We can mix storylines. We can like cross things over. We can grow all of our talent and character development. Like, I've been waiting so long for this. Like, it's hard being signed to a company and not being able to do shows, and you can't be mad because it's not the company who's making, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally like, what am I gonna do? Yell at the pandemic? Like, no, you have to be like level-headed. So, I'm just so excited for everything. I'm just, it's what we've been waiting for so long.
I know. So I'm amped for it, even just to cover it. What I think is pretty neat too, as you kind of mentioned this too, is like the testing stuff going on and everything. I feel it's neat that Court and MLW kind of stood back and waited a little bit, like, and took it all in, and like, you saw how all these major sports leagues are doing, whether it's the NFL and they're running into problems. You got MLB, hockey did a great job, NBA's doing a great job overall, and like, then you have the other promotions going on too, wrestling promotions. But like, to kind of have that knowledge all set up and ready to go, plus you have like your guys' own testing protocol going into play.
Yeah.
I think it sets you guys up for a winning situation, whether how the pandemic goes, you know, and how long it carries on.
I definitely agree, because there are so many major companies that kind of jumped the gun on running shows, and you heard about people who tested positive, and it's really scary because I live with my family. By no means do I want to bring anything back. Obviously, I don't want to get it. When I came back, even from recently being in the States for a show, it was like my first show in 7 months. I didn't even pet my dog for a week because I'm like, I am just that paranoid. Like, it's a deadly serious thing. And so the fact that I'm going to be able to show up, be in my hotel room, get tested. They have zones for us on site. We were literally, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like it's a positive thing, so whatever. They literally sent us like a 7-page, or maybe it was more than that, but like thing just about their safety protocols and like how they're gonna have hand sanitizing stations for us and everything. Like literally, they have thought of everything to make it as safe as possible. And I'm reading it like, this is awesome because I want to feel safe. You know, you never know who can have it. So the fact I'm going to be in a room with everyone who's been tested, I'm like, cool, I feel great. So yeah, they definitely set it up for success. I would have rather waited than had shows back in June and tested positive, you know?
Right.
So
yeah, and then it's just getting worse, and like it's and yeah, you've seen some of the other promotions and what's happened, and like it's just it's nuts, and it's something nobody can control either. You know, you can take all the precautions, like do what you can, and you can still get it, just or you know, totally. And it's even though when we were in Philly, like for the Philly show, I remember there's like no handshaking, and that was right before the pandemic like really started taking swings and everything. Yeah. No handshaking, so everybody's like fist bumping and doing everything like that.
Elbows.
I'm getting used to this. People are off me elbows. I'm like, oh, still gotta do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want to talk a little bit too, just about your initial start with MLW. I thought you added such a nice, cool element that we haven't seen in wrestling in a while, and that's you're welcome. It's like a highlight of the interview process, and what people look forward to is the personalities engaging with one another. And I thought you so many times, and I'm gonna use WWE as the example. They've kind of roboticized their interviewers in a lot of ways, I feel. And so, but having you there, you have your own personality. People are already aware of you if they're a wrestling fan. So I think you add a very Mean Gene-esque type of role to it.
Thank you so much. I've been getting that comparison. I'm going to cut you off. I've been getting that comparison a lot, like really randomly over the last 2 months. And I'm just like, that is the nicest thing you can literally ever hear. Right? So thank you.
Yeah. You can't be like, that's the thing too. Cause like,
he's the best.
He's what you aspire. Like he's what the interviews aspire to be, like wrestling and stuff. And I feel like that's what made him such a good interviewer and personality. I think like, it's not just the interviewing aspect, it's the personality that comes into play with it. And I think a lot of that just gets lost or just avoided because everybody's like, oh, you got to focus on the wrestler. You got to focus on the talent. But if you have the other person playing off of it, it adds a whole nother level to that talent as well as your product as a whole. So talk about being able to kind of do that. Because, I mean, you've done interview shows for like, I think it's AAW in Chicago. Is that right? Or is it it's a different promotion? Warrior Wrestling. Warrior Wrestling,
yeah,
right?
Warrior. Yeah. I've attended AAW shows, but I've never actually worked with them before.
Yeah, okay, no, so you've done a little bit of that stuff, but I think this is like, I've seen you do interviews before, but once you got to MLW, I've never seen you kind of in that kind of role before. Talk about how that was for you and being kind of able to like react and interact with talent on, I don't want to say like a character basis, but more of like a persona that you're able to showcase yourself a little bit.
Yeah, it's really fun because before MLW, I did a couple things with other promotions, but MLW was really the first one that was just like, we're giving you the reins. We have confidence in you. We believe in you and your talent and what you bring to the table and your personality. So there, you know, obviously you have stuff you have to put over. You have storylines where it's like, okay, make sure you mention so-and-so's facing so-and-so and this is our show time. You know what I mean? But like, otherwise they kind of let you run with it. And it's really fun because that's where as cheesy as it sounds, like that's where the magic happens. That's where you can be goofy and yell at people and call someone a dick and just be like and have like as much fun as you want to. And it's cool because my sit downs with people, like my one-on-one videos for my channel or my vlogs, that's me. It's like 100% me. And you know, there's no gimmick. And it's fun because in MLW, it's like, yeah, there's no gimmick, but it's me heightened, you know? It's like we Spinal Tap that stuff. We turn it to 11. And I guess if someone makes fun of me in a promo or if someone's being an ass, I can literally just like give it back to them. I don't have to be that robotic, quiet interviewer who just shakes her head scared, like,
scared,
okay, keep talking. Like, oh, yeah, okay, because you see that face in every freaking promo. And it's like, I never wanted to do that, but when your boss is telling you, that's what you do. But when I came to MLW, it's like, no, have fun with it. Talk back to the guys. Be like that badass interviewer that's not like a bad guy, but people want to like get behind. I'm like, this is so fun. So they really give me so much creative freedom. The guys I'm working with, like my coworkers are fantastic. There's such great chemistry with everyone. So that freedom has just been a blast. Like I'm so grateful that they have enough confidence in me to just be like, run with it. And most of the time things work. Sometimes we get to a point where we say stuff so crazy and ridiculous, we're like, that was hilarious, but maybe let's tone it down.
Yeah, right. Like, you're kind of going off a little bit of the rails.
It's so fun though.
Yeah.
So like my favorite thing is when we finish filming and we're like, that's the one, like the producer says that or the agent, then we all get behind the camera and watch it and we're like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing when it airs. So I'm just excited for those kind of moments again when we come back with the restart.
Yeah, and so like when I saw you in Philly too backstage, you were just all over the place. You were just going bouncing here or there. You had stuff
crazy
like, constantly. It was like nonstop kind of deal. Talk about that process going into like, how is a day like that behind the scenes for you?
It's insane because usually we'll have a dedicated promo day and then we have a day or two of tapings, and it's kind of switching a little bit for the restart simply because we have like 3 days of tapings, I believe, and then I fly in the day before and fly out the day after. So pre-tapes are happening the whole time. There's no dedicated day. Like we're literally going to be like, hey, I'll call and have to film. So when I'm at a show, it's like you arrive, you kind of say your hays to everyone. I go to the room, get makeup done, change, and then it's like, it's go time. You're literally on call for whenever they need you. And in between that, while I'm just kind of like waiting or watching matches, I'm vlogging and I'm trying to get interviews from my YouTube channel because obviously like they give me full access to the lockers and I'm friends with everyone. So it's like, hey, you have 2 seconds, cool. So I'm trying to run around and do that. And then as soon as you're done a vlog, you get a text like, hey, I need you in this room, make sure. And then it's nonstop. I think I maybe sit for like half hour if I'm lucky, and that's when I eat. So it's like, it's really hectic. It's really crazy, but it's fun. And I think the thing that I've really enjoyed, like one of the things I've enjoyed most with MLW is they've been letting me do a lot of live promos. So of course we have the pre-tapes and stuff, which can be like great. That's kind of where I mentioned like a lot of the really fun parts happen. But I've actually been able to go in ring with like a monitor and headset and everything. And you know, you're given like your call, like 3, 2, 1. Okay, Alicia, send her out. And if you get to do your thing, the crowd cheers. They're like super psyched that you, like I've had Alicia chants. Like it's just so fun. And then you get to deliver some kind of promo, and it just, the energy is amazing. You know, it's great. You get to actually perform in front of people and play off of people. If someone yells at you, you can like give them a little stare to shut up. Like,
right, yeah.
Like, you know, like it's so fun. Yeah. So that's something I'm really excited for too, is just doing live promos this time around, because I feel like I've gotten so much better at them as I've grown with this company. So, oh man, I keep saying it, but I'm just ready. I'm finally ready.
I bet. Especially like you've been up in Canada for like 7 months. It's been now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy.
I want to be free.
Right? I know. I was fortunate in a way because I work at Whole Foods too, so I get to go out and about a little bit. And like I never had it like locked in. I was never locked in. I was always out. So it's like being able to escape was nice, but I can only fathom how it's like if you have the type of job where you're traveling around, you're doing stuff, you're used to that rhythm of everything, and then it just gets stopped all of a sudden.
It was hard because I started seeing shows happening again in like July in the States, and I was like, man, I kept getting emails, hey, would you like to host this? Hey, would you like to be a guest? And I literally had to say like, I can't come. Yeah. Like I literally, and that's using the word literally right. Like I literally cannot come. And then they changed everything where Canadians are allowed to go to the States. And whenever we come back home, we have to quarantine for 14 days. So I was actually just at a Warrior show a week ago, and I've been quarantining. It'll all be done on Monday. So, you know, I'm just I'm just obliging to everything. I have family members taking merch to the post office for me, for fans. Nice. Like you really like, you have to be as safe as possible, because I don't want to be that person who returns from the States and just decides to go everywhere and somehow you have it and you spread it to like a bunch of people. So, you know, it's just, it's very different. Usually I could just go whenever I wanted, come back, go. But, you know, now you just got to come home and stay as safe as possible and then go again. So I'm making it work. And
Yeah.
definitely just making it work.
I mean, in a way, it sucks. Like, obviously, quarantine sucks and like pandemic sucks. But I feel like too, it kind of gives everybody a little bit of balance to their lives if you're on that opposite end too, because like you got to kind of figure out what you can do with limited resources in a roundabout way. Where it's like,
Right.
obviously, like, you know, in today's world, we're a little bit more fortunate than somebody, say, like, whether it was in the early 20th century or whatever. But it's like, you know, to make that adjustment, it kind of redirects your life perspective in a little bit of a ways. I kind of felt, at least, you know?
It does. It was weird because even when I flew out to that Chicago show last week, I didn't feel like antsy. I wasn't like, oh, the stupid blind. Like, it was literally like, I was just grateful that I got to fly again. Like, it was
Yeah.
weird, you know? And it's never that I was ever like bitchy or anything to someone if there was a line. Like, that's not me. But in your head, you're like, oh, this sucks. Like, I
Yeah,
hate this. I hate this.
right.
Oh, look at that security. Look at the customs. And now I'm just like, hey, I'm going to be doing my thing soon. I'm going to have a great time. Like, let's rock and roll. So it definitely gives you perspective, even just being able to go for a walk across the street when I'm out of quarantine. Like, the only fresh air I've got is from my backyard because you can't leave your home.
Yeah.
So just taking my dog for a walk is going to be lovely when this is all over. So it definitely puts, like you mentioned, it definitely puts a new perspective and spin on things.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about, I watched one of your videos. I thought these were really cool. Was you did your top 3 videos. You were doing your makeup
Yeah.
while you're doing that.
Oh
And
God.
yeah, one of your pet peeves was being slow walkers, which I'm 100% behind you at.
Oh.
I hate that. And without trashing too many people at my other job, like there's a lot of slow walkers at, like in a tight
Right.
grocery store. People that stop in the middle of nowhere, just out of nowhere, drives me nuts.
Then you're like, whoa.
Yeah, hey, come on, hey, settle it, right? It's like,
Oh, it drives me crazy.
it drives me nuts. And the chewing, I can't take the chewing. I think I'm all with you on all 3 of those.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was at the airport once, and I swear this dude was just like chowing down on
Yeah,
food.
you were saying that.
And I just kept looking over at him, and then I kept like, like I was actually being like a bit of a turd because he was just being so freaking annoying. I was just like, oh my God. Or like when people have conversations so loud on their cell phones that you literally feel like they're talking to you. I had that happen like at the airport last time where I was sitting in the waiting area, and there's like the seats are socially distanced. Is that how there's social distancing between the seats? And someone was maybe like 10 meters away from me, and I could literally like hear their entire phone call. So I just started answering back as if I was the person on the other end. And yeah, he didn't notice, but it made someone else laugh. So.
That's pretty funny. That's really funny, actually.
Oh God, people can suck.
Oh, they really do. And I tell you what, that's the other thing about this pandemic is you've seen how people react in certain situations. When you can tell, this is the line I always use. You can tell when people weren't told no enough as a kid. You know,
Totally.
You get everybody, like it doesn't matter what class of party, like what class you are of or anything like that. You'll get everybody's like actually like a social experiment. It's really strange.
It really is, because you see people's true colors. You see the people who want to go out without masks and all this craziness, and it's like, I don't understand. Like, is it really that hard? I don't know. That's a whole other thing I could just ramble about and get mad at. So.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too. I'm with you. So yeah, let's talk about your blog and what's going on there. You started up it again. Are you gonna keep doing it a little bit, or are you just gonna try to find the windows when you're able to do it?
Yeah, it's all about windows because I can, of course, vlog from my house. I can do Q&As or those top 3 videos, but the vlogs really did start to become, hey, I'm at this show hanging with a bunch of people. Let's have a talk with them all. And then showing little like clips of the show and fun stuff in between, So it's like, it's hard to do that because I'm not traveling as much, but definitely for the MLW tapings, I'd love to have a bunch of people on. It's the great opportunity to, and yeah, I'm going to try to do them as much as I can whenever I have shows.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we all make the adjustments. It all kind of works. And like, that's kind of been the neat thing too about this quarantine is like, I've been able to, just do video interviews more where I never really did that a whole lot. So it's just like, it's a neat adjustment, but we'll all make the way kind of deal. So,
definitely.
Yeah. All right. We'll close it out with this. you also mentioned your top 3 favorite horror movies. I never saw any of them. So Sinister, Conjuring, and Jeepers Creepers. I've never seen any 3 of those.
Really? Okay, so you got to check them out because Sinister's really good. It has to do with little children, and children are like the creepiest thing to me
They
in
are.
horror films. Like, I hate hearing them whisper. So, that is terrifying. And Sinister has an incredible twist. Like, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, it's really good. Conjuring is terrifying. It's just about demons and possession, and it's the scariest horror film I've ever seen. Like, ever. So I actually just recently watched it, but I watched it the whole time with my eyes open, which I've never done before.
Yeah.
So nope, I wasn't hiding under a blanket. It was great. And no pillows. So I watched that again, and it's terrifying. Also children in it, so super scary. And the last one is Jeepers Creepers, which is just like this weird creature that just like tries to kill a bunch of people. And that was one of the first movies where I remember I almost like passed out from hyperventilation because I was under a blanket with my family watching it, and I didn't come up for air for like an hour and a half because I was just so scared. I was literally like, I'm not even joking, I was maybe like 8, and I was so scared. So yeah, all 3 are great movies. They are terrifying, and luckily I made it out alive.
Yeah, I would have been flipping out if I was like 8. And I woke up middle of the night when I was like 7 or something. My parents were watching the original It, and
Okay.
I could not take clowns for a very long time after that. So
You know what's funny is I had a similar thing when I was like maybe 10 or 12. My family and I would watch Dexter, and I was obsessed with Dexter. Like, I loved that show so much, and I was really young when we watched it. And I remember there's this one scene where he's in a storage unit, and it just starts like showing all these flashbacks of his family, and he just is there. He's an adult, but in Dexter, the scene, he's like 4 years old, and it just starts filling up with blood. And I remember that scene, and in the middle of the night, it was like 2 a.m. This is little 12-year-old Alicia. I go to my sister's room and knock on the door and just crawl into bed with her because I was so scared, and she was pissed, but I was so scared. So yeah, me and horror movies aren't the best of friends, but I'm trying to get better with them.
it's a bit of an adjustment. Yeah, I didn't get into them until later on, and like now I gotta confer with my brother, who's like a big Stephen King horror movie guy. So
Okay.
anytime I need a suggestion, I'll get it from him, hopefully. But all right, so I'll add Sinister and Conjuring definitely to my list. I gotta
check them out.
Halloween-wise, it's like I have to make the most of it while you're here. Like, wow, nobody can do Halloweeny stuff. Are you gonna do anything for Halloween? You gotta try to have any plans?
You know what's funny is once I'm back from the MLW tapings, I have to quarantine again for 14 days. So I will actually be under quarantine during Halloween. So I'm still gonna take I know. I'm still gonna take some spooky photos and stuff, and like share stuff online for a couple things, but I am going to be housebound. So yeah.
You should do Halloween makeup while you answer your top 3 questions again.
Totally. I think that's a good idea. I need to do another one of those soon.
Do like a Day of the Dead kind of thing or something.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Who knows? I was thinking, there are 2 things I was going between. I have this cool skull dress, so I was like, maybe I'll be like a skeleton. And then the other thing, I was like, it'd be really cool to be Jigsaw. So I don't know which I want to do yet, though.
Ooh, you'll work it out.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, anything else you want to plug?
Honestly, just check all my interviews out. There are tons going on with musicians, wrestlers, and bodybuilders, like the who's who of every industry. So check that out. Go to AliciaAtout.com. You'll find all of them. You can also check out my merch store where there are shirts, 8x10s, 4x6s, buttons. There's everything. There's even a special Halloween shirt, Hello Queen shirt that I just put out, which is super cool. And otherwise, just stay tuned for MLW's The Restart. Stuff's going to start airing this November. Brand new content, new roster. It's going to be knuck and futt. So check that out on BN Sports, Fubo, or you can just watch it on our YouTube channel. And that's about it. Just stay tuned for everything because a lot's going on and things are about to get awesome.
Heck yeah, it's gonna get good. It's gonna get good. Your t-shirt's awesome because it looks like the Halloween Queen t-shirt. It looks very Bewitched, like that old show Bewitched. And I was like, oh,
that's what we were going for.
Was it? Oh, nice. You nailed it then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, this is Dominic D'Angelo at WrestleZone.com. Follow me on Twitter at Dominic D'Angelo. Follow WrestleZone on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. Go to WrestleZone.com for all your wrestling news needs. And tune into this podcast feed because if you type in WrestleZone podcast, you'll get this interview. You'll get several other ones happening that we have going on. We're just spinning a lot of plates here over at the site. So, and hey, go to MLW.com too to check out not only my recaps, but all the cool content. MLW Fusion is so fun to watch, by the way. I love that. Like the little 6-minute clips and everything. It's a neat little take that we've been doing since then. So it's a pretty neat adjustment. You guys are welcome. So Alicia, thanks so much for joining me again. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Bye, everybody.
All right. See you guys.